All right, let's talk about your finances, but maybe not in the way you're used to. We're not just talking about getting by month to month. We're talking about building a real, lasting legacy, a financial dynasty for your family. It's a crazy thought, right? How can someone earning a great salary still be just one paycheck away from disaster? It's a stressful and, honestly, a super common reality. But what if I told you it's often caused by a system that we're all taught to follow without ever stopping to question it? We're going to call this the one-generational trap. It's a way of thinking about money that isn't designed to be passed on. The whole point of this explainer is to show you how to break free from that. We're going to do it by adopting a whole new mindset, one that's focused on generational budgeting, a plan that's not just for you, but for the generations that come after you. Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, it all starts with a huge revelation, really. It's about understanding the way you've been, programmed to think about money. And Robert Kiyosaki illustrates this absolutely brilliantly with what he calls the economic mindset quadrants. Check this out. This simple grid, which we're going to break down, shows 4 totally different ways of earning a living. And trust me, the first, most important step you can take is figuring out where you are on this map right now. So first up, we've got the E for employee. Now, the big promise here, the core value is security, right? A steady paycheck. But here's the catch. You have zero control. The business isn't yours. So that feeling of security, it can be pretty fragile. Then you've got the S quadrant. This is for the self-employed or the specialist. I'm my own boss, which sounds amazing, but the problem is you are the business. If you stop working, the money stops. That makes it almost impossible to take a real vacation, let alone sell it or pass it down. Okay, now this is where everything changes. We're moving over to the right side of the quadrant with B for business builder. These folks don't just own a job, they own a system that works for them. And that's the magic word, system. It allows for scale, for duplication, and, this is the whole point, for wealth you can actually transfer. And finally, we have the investor, the I. These are the people who have really cracked the code. They've reached a level of financial literacy where they're no longer working for money. Nope, their money is working hard for them, generating income all on its own. So here's the big takeaway. Look at this. The left side, you're selling your time, and there's only so much of that to go around. The right side, you're multiplying your time and your money. That is the fundamental shift. That is the secret to building a real dynasty. So the big question is, how do you get from the left side to the right? All right, so we've got the theory down. Now for the fun part. How do we actually do this? In this next section, we're going to get super practical. We're building your toolkit to design a whole new financial future. It all kicks off with creating 2 really important budgets. And no, don't worry, this isn't about pinching pennies. This is about getting crystal clear on your numbers so you can take back control of your financial world. First things first. I want you to ask yourself a tough question. If your main income completely vanished tomorrow, what is the absolute bare bones minimum you'd need to survive? This isn't your living comfortably number. This is your keep the lights on number, your security need. And you have to be brutally honest here. I mean, look at this example. No fancy dinners, no subscriptions, just the rock bottom essentials. What does it take to survive for 1 more month? Seriously, take a second and think about what that number is for you. It's a game changer to know it. Okay, now for the flip side. We have to answer the question, when is enough enough? And this isn't about keeping up with the Joneses or impressing your neighbors. It's about figuring out what your ideal lifestyle actually costs. The point where you feel content, fulfilled, and not just constantly chasing more. When you define enough, you're basically building a damn wall for your money. Think about it. It stops that unconscious spending, that lifestyle creep that eats up every raise you get. And once that wall is built, any extra income, any surplus can be directed with purpose. It can flow into building wealth, into blessing others, instead of just disappearing. Okay, you've defined your needs. Now I want to share a simple but honestly revolutionary rule for managing every single dollar that comes into your life. And the best part, it works whether you're earning a little or a lot. Here's the thing, you don't get wealthy by what you earn. You get wealthy by how you steward what you earn. And this little illustration shows the method perfectly. We call it the 4 envelopes principle. The idea is so simple. Before you spend a dime, every bit of income gets split up. 10% right off the top goes to building your dynasty, savings, investments, you name it. Another 10% is for giving back. 20% is for attacking debt or saving for big ticket items. And the last 60%, that's what you live on, period. Now, the real power of this system is sticking to it. So what happens when you're tempted to, borrow from another envelope? Well, you have to face the hard questions. If your living costs envelope is empty and you give money away anyway, you have to look your family in the eye and answer that question on the screen. That's tough. And what about the debt envelope? Taking from that is not just moving numbers around. It's breaking a legal commitment. You're basically stealing from people you promised to pay back. It's that serious. And this is the big one. Stealing from your savings envelope, that's the ultimate sin in this system. You are the guardian of your family's future. When you take from this envelope, you're not just borrowing from yourself, you're robbing your own grandchildren. You're squandering the very legacy you're fighting so hard to build. Okay, I know this is a lot. It sounds great in theory, but the question is always, what do I do right now? How do you put this into motion today? So here's your homework, your first concrete step. It's simple. First, pull up your bank statement and list out everything you spent last month. Second, categorize every single purchase into one of those 4 envelopes. Third, do the math. What are your percentages right now? And finally, just look at it. Compare it to the 10-10-20-60 rule. Don't freak out if it's way off. Most people's are. The goal isn't to be perfect overnight. It's just to find 1 or 2 small things you can start adjusting starting today. Look, at the end of the day, this is about so much more than just budgeting. It's a total mindset shift. When you start seeing yourself as the founder of a dynasty instead of just an employee, and you start stewarding your money with this kind of intention, you're building something that will last. So I'll leave you with this question. You are the founding parent of your family's financial future. What's it going to look like?